Hey there! Today we're going to break down a term that's really important for understanding the amazing diversity of human identity. We're diving right into the heart of what it means to be transgender.
So let's just put the main question right out there. What does it actually mean to be transgender? It's a word we hear a lot, but what's really behind it? It can get a little misunderstood. Okay, to really get it, we've got to start with one key distinction. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything, so let's break it down.
All right, so think of it like this. There are two totally separate ideas we need to pull apart here. On one hand, you've got gender identity. This is your own internal, deep-down sense of who you are, whether you feel like a man, a woman, a bit of both, or neither. It's inside you. Then, on the other hand, there's assigned sex at birth. That's simply the label, usually male or female, that a doctor puts on a birth certificate based on a baby's body parts. And that distinction? Well, it leads us straight to the definition. A person is transgender when their gender identity, that internal feeling, doesn't match up with the sex they were assigned at birth. It's that simple. So, for example, someone who was assigned female at birth might know deep down that they're a man, or someone assigned male might identify as non-binary. It all boils down to that personal, internal truth. And this identity has such a powerful and beautiful symbol. Just like a lot of movements for equality, the trans community has a flag that stands for pride, for history, and for just how resilient people are.
And yeah, there's a story behind it. It was created way back in 1999 by a trans woman named Monica Helms. And ever since, it's become this amazing global symbol for the trans community. The design is so simple, but wow, it's packed with meaning. You've got the light blue and pink stripes, which, traditionally represent boys and girls. But that white stripe right in the middle, that's for folks who are non-binary, people who are transitioning, or anyone who just doesn't fit neatly into those boxes. But honestly, the real genius of the design is its symmetry. Monica Helms made it so that no matter which way you hang it, it's always the right way up. And that's just this beautiful, powerful metaphor, right? It's saying that your gender identity is valid and true no matter what your journey looks like. Okay, so even with all this growing visibility, there are still so many myths floating around. So for this next part, let's just separate fact from fiction, okay? We're going to tackle some of the biggest misconceptions head on. All right, first up, this is a big one you'll hear all the time. Is being trans a choice? And the reality? It's a clear and simple no. Think about it like your sexual orientation. It's not something you choose. It's just a core, inherent part of who you are. It's about discovering that truth and then getting to live as your most authentic self. Okay, next myth. This is one you hear all the time, that to be really trans, you have to get surgery or have other medical procedures. Yeah, that's just flat out not true. Being transgender is all about your internal identity. That's it. Sure, some trans people choose to medically transition, but many don't. And their identity is just as valid. It's about who you are on the inside, not what you do or don't do to your body on the outside. And for our last myth, this idea that being transgender is somehow a new thing, right? Like it's a modern trend that just popped up out of nowhere. Not even close. Gender-diverse people have been a part of cultures all over the world for centuries. I mean, you have the Hijra communities in South Asia who are even officially recognized as a third gender in several countries. And you have two-spirit people in many indigenous cultures across North America. History is absolutely full of examples that prove this isn't new at all. It's always been part of the human story. So why does any of this matter? Why is it so important to understand all this stuff? Well, because understanding is the very first step toward affirmation and toward making the world a safer place for everybody. Because here's the tough reality. Transgender people face some of the highest rates of discrimination and violence within the LGBTQ+ community. This isn't just some abstract idea we're talking about. It has serious, real-world consequences for people's lives. But the good news is, we can all be a part of the solution. And it really starts with simple things. First, just getting the basics down, like what we've talked about today. Second, respecting pronouns. It's such a simple way to show someone you see them and respect who they are. And third, when you hear those myths we just busted, help set the record straight. At the end of the day, being transgender is about one thing, living as your true, authentic self. And when we take the time to educate ourselves, and maybe even others, we're helping to build a world where everyone gets to live with dignity, with safety, and with pride. So I'll leave you with this to think about. How can we use what we know to keep building that better, more understanding world?